In the early 2000s, I was in a vampire cult, and I am going to try and tell you the whole story as quickly as possible. The cult was based around the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. I spent a decade being told that the vampire Armand was in love with me, that he was visiting me in the night and giving me his blood and then wiping my memory. A lot of people on this forum were minors. It was operated on a website called Nosferatu.com and a chat room and message board called The Looking Glass. Around that time on the internet, there were a lot of role-playing and fanfiction forums that were presenting themselves as true. Sort of a suspension of disbelief, breaking the fourth wall situation. When you joined these forums, you were not playing a character, you were just being yourself. You were interacting with people who never dropped the mask. People who would stay in character as Lestat, Louis, Armand the whole time. What made The Looking Glass different is that they were willing to go to really extreme lengths to prove to members that they were really the Anne Rice vampires. Not only were a lot of people underage on these forums, many of us were also very vulnerable. There were people on this forum who were battling addiction, people with pretty severe mental health issues, people experiencing homelessness or with really difficult home lives. The goal for the people running this website was to have as much control as possible over the mortal members. When you don't have a lot of power in your day-to-day life, when you are bored and unsatisfied with who you are in the world, putting that mask on that grants you attention and love and power is very intoxicating. The moderators of this forum spent over 20 years lying to and manipulating people into believing that they were really immortal vampires. They pushed people into mental health crisis, they encouraged people to harm themselves, there was a lot of underage cybering going on, and asking for explicit material under false pretenses. The mechanism they used to accomplish all this was belief, fantasy, and roleplay. Being told this kind of thing when you are a vulnerable teenager with mental health issues is not great for your health. And I was by far not the only person this happened to. In fact, since starting to talk about this on the internet for the past year, the number of people who have DM'd me with really similar stories, some from the cult I was in and some from completely different groups, is really staggering. People were told that vampire blood was making them sick, they could not donate blood or give bone marrow to terminally ill relatives. The people behind the masks purposefully sabotaged real-world relationships and used shame, fear, spirituality, and love to control almost every aspect of members' lives. It turned out to be middle-aged women catfishing us all. Women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s when the rest of us were teenagers and in our early 20s. The internet is a very strange place.